Hi everyone. This video is going to give a brief introduction and kind of tutorial to the literary analysis essay. So this is in Module 2, and if you definitely need to go through and read all the reading assignments, look at the resources and so forth. But I want to specifically focus on this folder here, the Literary Analysis Essay Instructions and Resources for Writing. There are three very important documents here. This is a document that shows how to access the WPCC databases. The databases are collections of scholarly, credible, academic articles that are on various topics that college students use when exploring and researching. So for this particular essay, two sources are required: the short story that you will be analyzing, and also an article that offers literary criticism of that particular short story that you chose and how it fits in with your essay points. So this shows you how to access the databases. Specifically for this essay, the literary analysis, you will be likely looking in NC Live, Academic OneFile, and then Gale Literature. Gale Literature is probably your best bet when trying to find literary criticism of short stories or any other literature. So this document shows you how to access the databases. The databases have lots of perks. Number one, you know it's going to be a credible article. Number two, they cite the information for you. So if you click on the Cite tool that's up at the top, once you have an article pulled up, then click on MLA, and it may be the most recent edition, which is 9th, but it may be 8th, it may be 7th, it may be 6th. Any of those will work, but you do want to, if they do offer the latest edition, which is 9th, you want to use the MLA 9th edition. This link here takes you to the essay instructions, and this link right here gives you kind of a brainstorming and outline guide to get started. So let's click on the instructions and look. Alright, it's showing up on my other screen, so I'm going to move it over. Okay, here it is. The literary analysis. Now in this particular module, we're working in the field or the discipline of humanities. And humanities has to do with the arts, and literature is a part of the arts. So you've got three choices of short stories here. You've got Story of an Hour by Kate Chopin. You've got The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman, and you have The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. Now you've likely read one or all of these stories before at some point in time, in a high school class or even maybe in a college class. But you want to choose one of these, okay? Now if you look here, I've got the links provided to where you can access the full text of each short story. So you definitely want to click on those to view the story, and this is going to be what you cite. You're going to cite the website. Now this first link for Story of an Hour, this first link opens up a list of many different short stories. Do not be confused by that. This link is only used to provide this short story here, The Story of an Hour. So don't choose another story from this link. Only if you're going to click on this link, you're going to look at Story of an Hour. Okay? So you choose one of these and determine which one you're most interested in, which one you could really write about, which one you understood. So you might have to read all three and then maybe do a little research online to get a better understanding of each short story. But in order to analyze literature, you have to do some critical reading, which means you may have to reread and reread and reread. I still have to do that. Even as an English instructor for, almost 20 years or so, I still have to reread things sometimes because I believe I have a little ADD at some points in my life. So I do have to reread. So if you have to, that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing to take notes, whatever you feel you need to do to help you better understand the stories. This is a 2-page essay, at least 2 pages. If you go over, that's fine. Just don't go crazy. You shouldn't go over by a page or 2. But definitely meet the length requirement. You do not want point deductions for not meeting the length requirement. So again, 2 full pages. This is set up in MLA format. If you have already noticed, you've already completed an essay for this class, you know what MLA formatting looks like. This should look the same. The 3rd page of the essay will be the works cited page, and it will contain the 2 sources that you are using for this essay, the short story that you're analyzing, and also 1 academic scholarly article from the databases that offers literary criticism of the story. The article you choose from the database needs to be directly related to the short story you're analyzing and should support 1 or more of your points in your essay. This talks about how to use the databases as well. The organization, okay, be sure you look at the literary analysis resources that are under the reading assignments section in this module. It'll show you kind of how to write this type of essay, what should be thought about, how planning should look, and so forth. But this would be considered a 5-paragraph essay where you have an introduction, you have a conclusion at the end, and then you have 3 body paragraphs in the middle. And those 3 body paragraphs are when you choose 3 literary devices from the literary terms list in Moodle. Most of the time, students choose literary devices like irony, foreshadowing, personification, simile, metaphor, imagery, symbolism. Those are all different types, and theme and character motivation. Those types of things are all really good literary devices to discuss because most all short stories use them. The authors use those. So you're going to read the short story and determine what 3 literary devices you can find in the short story you chose. And those can be the 3 that you write about. You're going to explain these literary devices and how they impact the story. So you're going to give quotes from the story showing examples of these literary devices, and you're going to explain their significance, what it means, why it was included. What do you think? Okay? So this is not a summary of the story. This is an analysis. You have to look deeper than the surface. Okay? You will put a short summary in your intro, but that should be it. You should not summarize the whole story throughout the essay. Here is an example of how to cite the short story that you choose. The first example here is the Kate Chopin source, Story of an Hour. It literally should look like this, not with the yellow, obviously, but it will look like this on your works cited page. Now, you'll just have to add the URL in there, and that URL is on the first page right here, okay? And then if you're writing about one of the other stories, you still follow the same format. So it will be Gilman, comma, Charlotte Perkins, period, in quotation marks, the yellow wallpaper, period, in quotation marks, and then you have the URL. And you do the same thing for the Edgar Allan Poe source. And when any of these short stories are cited within your essay, you're going to put the author's last name in parentheses after any information you use from that source. So this gives you an example of the Chopin source. This is the works cited citation. This will be how you cite it within your essay. You want to write in present tense. If you write in past tense, that's fine too. Just make sure that you stick to one or the other. Don't mix the two. Absolutely no first or second person wording should be in this essay. No I, me, my, us, we, our, me, you, your. None of that wording should be included in there. So write your essay and then go back and proofread for that to make sure you take those out. Short story titles are put in quotation marks. Article titles are put in quotation marks. They're considered small works. Let's see. Here again are some examples of some literary devices to use. You can look at that literary terms list again that's provided in Moodle. Be sure to support your points with several quotations and paraphrases, but write the majority of your paper in your own words and your own ideas. No contractions. Don't, won't, can't, wouldn't, shouldn't. That's considered informal writing, so you need to make sure you write those out. And of course, you will use the WPCC, NC Live, or Gale Literature, or Academic One File to find your source. You cannot use the internet to find your source. See all resources provided in Moodle concerning this literary analysis. Okay, so there is the essay instructions. This last document is very important. Click on it. I have to open it up and bring it over to my screen. Oh, it's going to show up here. Good. Okay. This is just for assistance. It's telling you what you should do to brainstorm and prepare for this essay. Number one, research that author. Be sure that you research and find out any information about this author that may give them the motivation for writing that particular story. Research the time period. You know, a lot of times time period or historical events, things like that are taking place during the time the story is written, impact the plot of the story. So look at that. Read the story. Take notes. Look at any type of these popular literary devices. See if you can find them and give examples of them. And here is a sample outline format. It tells you exactly what you should have in each body paragraph. Now, of course, don't copy and paste mine, but it gives you an idea. I've given you an idea of a topic sentence, then I've told you what I would do in that paragraph. So just be sure that you follow this outline guide. My suggestion would be to go ahead and create an outline. It does not have to be submitted. Obviously, it's not going to be taken up, but it will help you be able to understand how to organize your paper. And a lot of times if you outline first, your paper is basically written. All you have to do is put it in paragraph format. So outlining is a really good way to plan your essay. So you want to brainstorm first up here, and then you want to outline before you write your essay. If you have any questions about how to do this, how to write the essay, how to include research, like for instance in here, I may not find but one source that talks about theme used in whatever story I chose. And I may put that piece of information in there. I may not have any research in the rest of my paper, and that's fine. But I have one source, the short story, that I'm going to give examples of in each body paragraph. But I may only have one piece of information from the research article that provides really relevant, insightful information about one of my main points. Okay? And I will cite both the short story author and the author of the article within my essay, and I will have a works cited page attached to the end with both of those sources. Please see the MLA cheat sheet. It will help you with a checklist of how to format a works cited page, but also how to cite sources within your essay. Please keep in mind this has to be done. If you don't cite sources, it's considered plagiarism, so you definitely want to make that attempt to cite sources. Whether you do it correctly or not, at least you've made an attempt, and I can show you how to correct any mistakes. If you have any questions, let me know.